What's up, market snipers? This is Jesse. Welcome back. On this video, we're going to be covering Bitcoin longer and midterm targets. We're going to show you that Bitcoin, as you can see already, has already hit 2 of the 4 longer term targets so far. As you can see, the weekly chart candles are ultra bullish as of right now. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin dominance, right? Weekly chart. The weekly candles are ultra bullish right now. Also have hit 2 targets, so we're going to cover that. And then Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, right? The weekly candles are also ultra bullish on Grayscale Bitcoin. And there's going to be a reason why I'm pointing this out time and time again. And if you stick around, we're going to talk about the opportunity alert, the opportunity of some crypto assets that might just start to get going, some Bitcoin miners that might just be starting their process of a larger bounce, just because Bitcoin dominance and GBTC is breaking out to higher targets. It doesn't mean that crypto assets are going to follow exactly, but it could give us a clue of what's going to happen. Just because they're breaking out doesn't mean Bitcoin miners are going to break out and hit the same targets as well. But let's dive in and let's start talking about it right now. So if you look at it here on the bigger chart here, this is Bitcoin weekly chart. Just a quick recap, right? We are expecting that, going back to here, as price is breaking down, that we expected price to come back down. We expected price to find support. We expected price to come back up and then possibly put in a lower high, right? Possibly put lower targets prior to the next potential breakout, right? And that didn't happen, right? So it was happening for weeks, if not months, exactly the way we thought it would. And then it never put in that lower high. So what we're looking at here is, and what we've talked about on previous videos, you can go back here, why is price lagging on the MACD? And then of course, some of the Bitcoin ones, we talked about where we would be wrong, right? So as price is starting to pump back up, price regained the 200-week moving average, broke out of this downward trend line, started to keep pumping, right? The weekly candle closed at $30,000. Still, we're talking about that you could potentially have a lower high put in. So cautiously optimistic, right? Still could have had put in a lower high. Now it's starting to look less likely that a lower high gets put in. Why? Because what we talked about on previous live streams and previous videos is that once you start having daily candle closes back above 31,500-ish, right? And then once you have a weekly candle close back above 30,600-ish, call it, 30,635, depending on what exchange that you're on. Once it's starting to do that, then it's less likely that you're going to see, a lower high put in and come back down, right? So we were talking about prices putting in higher highs, and then this was bearish divergence, breakdown. It was playing out exactly the way we were calling it for a couple months. And then instead of putting in a lower high, it started up to break up to the upside. Okay, we get that, right? So now we put on those longer term targets that we had all the way back here from the breakout at 16,800, where we took a leverage long position from, right, originally. And so it hit the longer term target 1. And now after this breakout, it's come up and hit target 2, right? So will it possibly hit target 3 and or target 4? And then possibly retrace back down prior to the next halving in April 2024. And then we'll see if the bull run is on from there, right? So the reason why, a couple of bookmarks that we're looking at, price is back above the 200-week moving average, right? So let's take a look at that. So this blue line, you can see the SMA up here is 28,400. So once price regained the 200-week moving average, and the weekly chart, the weekly chart had a buy signal, right? So a few things we want to keep an eye on for these other assets, right? So had a buy signal on the weekly chart, got back above the trending dots, right? Battled back above the 200-week moving average, and then took off to the upside and hit target 2. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance, right? has been ultra bullish, and we've been talking about Bitcoin dominance this entire way, that we're expecting, these targets to get hit. So these longer term targets, target 1, right? Then target 2. Then back in October, we were covering this, that Bitcoin dominance has regained the 200-week moving average as well, right? It regained it and blew past target 2, just like Bitcoin, and then now is trending up to target 3, right? The probabilities continue to increase. It's ultra bullish. We just had another MACD bullish crossover on the weekly chart. Same with Bitcoin. Let's go to, but the other thing is, talking about the last buy signal on the dominance was at 42%, right? Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So I've been keeping an eye on this one. Target 1, target 2. This gap was filled as well. Gap filled here, and has been ultra bullish as well, right, on the weekly chart. So target 1, target 2. Price got back above the 200-week moving average. So buy signal on the weekly chart. Then the weekly candles go ultra bullish. They flip orange. They become on fire, right? Regain the 200-week moving average. Hits target 2, trending towards target 3. Possibly they go up and nail target 3, and then we'll see about target 4 after that. Okay, that's the kind of the recap. That's what we've been watching on Bitcoin dominance, and Grayscale. Now for the potential opportunities, we're going to go down the list. The first few are going to be the Bitcoin miners, and then we've got some crypto assets as well. So MicroStrategy is not a Bitcoin miner. Breaking news, right? But it acts very similar to Bitcoin, and it acts very similar to Bitcoin miners, right? It's tracks the Bitcoin miners very closely, in my opinion. And so if you look at here, on target 1 has already been hit, right? So target 1's been hit, target 2's been hit, and that's what we're continuing to watch, that all these assets, will they do the same? It's not guaranteed, obviously, but will it regain? So again, target 2 has been hit. Price has regained the 200-week moving average. The only thing MicroStrategy is missing right now is the weekly candles going orange and flipping ultra bullish. It's bullish right now, but it's not ultra bullish like GBTC, Bitcoin dominance, or Bitcoin. So will it? And if it does, will price come up here and hit target 3? Seems like it will, right? So MicroStrategy also looks like it's potentially leading the way to the upside. So it seems like we kind of missed the boat on GBTC, MicroStrategy, but that's okay. I've got a couple more that we might not have missed, right? Bitfarm, right? So I mapped out these longer term targets. So if you kind of zoom out here, we've got a little bit of a gap here, a little bit tiny of a gap here on Bitfarms. And so we hit price targets up here shorter term. It hit the 200-week moving average back here in July, and then retraced, hit 4 targets to the downside, and then it's already hit one shorter term target to the upside. It's got 3 more to go, and then you've got the longer term targets. So Bitfarm doesn't have a pending buy signal yet on the weekly chart. Bitfarm has not regained the 200-week moving average yet at $2.20, right? Bitfarm has not hit the longer term target 1 as of yet. Bitfarm has not hit target 2 of the longer term targets yet. Is it possible that it does? Yes, it is possible. Are we going to watch it level by level? Yes, we are. If you look at it from the current price right now of $1.24, the next shorter term target is 12%. The third one is 25%. And the fourth shorter term target is almost 40%. The 200-week moving average, by the way, none of this is financial advice. Do your own research, make your own decisions. This is just for education and entertainment purposes only. The 200-week moving average is at 76% from its current price at $1.24. The middle of target 1 is 105% bounce. Bitcoin from that last pivot low hit the next target, and I think it was like 25%. So we're looking at 105% potential bounce, a gap fill at 114, And if it bounces as hard and as high as MicroStrategy, as hard and high as GBTC, and as hard as Bitcoin, then we would be looking at Bitfarm hitting price target 2. It would take weeks, if not months, to play out. And if it does, it'd be over a 200% bounce. So that's Bitfarm, right? That is the opportunity. Kind of zooming in here, right? Kind of zooming in here. It hasn't even regained the 200 week, not about, it hasn't even regained the trending dots on the weekly chart yet. The daily chart just had a buy signal yesterday, right? Wicked up, kind of wicked back down after the a gap fill at 116. Target 1's been hit. It's still early, right? It's still early. You still have all these shorter term targets. Then you have the 200-week moving average to regain. Then target 1, then target 2, where Bitcoin, GBTC, and MicroStrategy is, right? So now that we've covered Bitfarms that detailed, all these other charts we're going to take a look at, just reference back to Bitfarms of what we're looking at here, because we don't need to cover every single chart exactly the same way, but I just wanted to show all that to you. So that's Bitfarm. Let's take a look at Riot. Riot just had a buy signal today, right? Riot had already hit target 1, longer term target 1, right? So let's go ahead and make that green. Riot had already hit longer term target 2, right? And then went through this big retracement. This was a massive retracement, right? And it retraced 58%. It looks like it's putting in a higher low, right? So hit target 1, hit target 2, had already regained 200-week moving average. Now it's got a buy signal again. And it's already hit target 1, but is currently below target 1, right? So kind of backfill this little tiny gap a little bit, and then it seems like it's going to take off from there. Let's look at the opportunity, though. The weekly chart hasn't even had a buy signal yet. It hasn't even closed back above the trending dots at 1173-ish, right? So the opportunity is there for Riot. We don't even have a pending buy signal on the weekly chart. The price hasn't even regained the 200-week moving average yet. And then we'll see if the candles also become ultra bullish on Riot. Let's keep going. We're already at almost 13 minutes. I'm going to try to keep this about 20 minutes total. And we've got a lot more to get through, right? So on the longer term targets, HUT has hit target 1, right? It's breaking out of this shorter term downward trend line. It doesn't even have a pending buy signal on the weekly chart yet, right? So the opportunity is from this current price here to the 200-week moving average is about 50%. Back to target 1 is in the middle of that is about 94%. If it happens to hit target 2 of these longer term targets from this current price, that would be 177% return, right? So obviously it doesn't even have a pending buy signal, but if you drop down the daily chart, there was a buy signal yesterday, right? And then it kind of gapped up, came back, filled it at about 219, 220-ish. Seems like there's going to be shorter term targets hit, and then we'll see if price regains the 200-week moving average. It looks like the weekly chart could have a buy signal in the near future, this week, next week, and then we'll see if it regains the 200-week moving average. Then if the candles go ultra bullish again on the weekly chart, like it did back here, and then price really starts to pump up after that. This is the low. This is a higher low. This is looking like a higher low. Will it come back up and hit these targets? That is hot. Marathon Digital starting to look all very similar, right? Price pumped up, never hit target 1, right? Just came up a little short, but it did get back above the 200-week moving average, also looking like a higher low. So even from here, Marathon Digital, its current price, it hasn't even regained the trending dots yet on the weekly chart. There's no buy signal, no pending buy signal on the weekly chart yet. So even from here at 977, back to the 200-week moving average is about 62%, right? You get back up, hit the middle of the target, 125. Second target, 245% potential, right? So Marathon Digital hasn't even hit target 1 or target 2, hasn't even had a buy signal on the weekly chart, hasn't even regained the 200-week moving average, and hasn't even gone ultra bullish, let alone bullish on the weekly chart yet. Drop down the daily chart. Again, buy signal yesterday, gapped up to 1075, kind of backfilled at 952. Then we're going to find out if it takes off to the upside after that. That's Marathon Digital. That's the Bitcoin miners. There's plenty more Bitcoin miners. CLSK, someone wanted me to take a look at that one earlier. They all start looking very similar. Let's take a look at these crypto assets. I got Ethereum, Solana, Chainlink, DOT, Near, and ADA. We're just going to run through those real quick. Let's zoom out here on Ethereum, right? We have a pending buy signal. So these similar looking longer term targets, right? It broke down, hit these targets to the downside. Looks like it's finding support. This would be the first weekly candle back above the trending dots. We have a pending buy signal on Ethereum. So if we look back at Bitcoin, right, the first buy signal back here at about 28,000 and then takes off, from that standpoint, from that weekly buy, it pumped up 25%, right? So Ethereum just now regaining the 200-week moving average, just now regaining the trending dots, just now has a pending buy signal on the weekly chart, right? So if Ethereum were to move very similar to Bitcoin at 26%, right, that takes you all the way up to almost this next target. So do we think Ethereum would move back up like that all the way to this next target area? It's possible. Bitcoin was about 26% from the similar move. Ethereum would be about a 34% to the middle of the target, right? So that's Ethereum, pending buy signal on the weekly chart, right? So that's what we're going to continue to look at. Solana, right, had a buy signal back here at $23. Blew through all these shorter term targets, has not hit the main first target yet, but blew through all the shorter term targets and is pumping up as of right now. And probably had another MACD bullish crossover on the weekly chart. It's back above the 0 line on the MACD, is trending upwards. And so this would put in a higher high, here on this weekly chart. Weekly candle it took out here at $27.47, put out a higher high, and is trending up towards that first target box, right? So that's Solana. Chainlink broke out, right? Buy signal back here, just under $7. Came back up, was rejected here at this trend line, put in a higher low here on the weekly chart, and then broke out, right? And now the weekly candle is on fire. The weekly candle is ultra bullish and it continues to move up. It's $11.22. So back from the similar buy zone at about 690, right, to where it's currently at 60%. If Chainlink happens to regain the 200-week moving average, that's about 90%, right? If it comes up and hits the main first longer term target, it's about 139 to the middle of the box, right? And you got all the way up there. So even from back here, the buy signal all the way to the middle of the second one, 232%. So Chainlink, another one that could be leading the way, right? Do you want to chase it now? Definitely not. You definitely don't want to chase it now. But we're going to get into 3 potentials, right? 4. I mean, Ethereum has a pending buy signal on the weekly chart, but DOT, right? So we got DOT here. DOT broke out of this shorter term downward trend line, right? In the near future, we could see price get back up on the weekly chart above the trending dots. It's getting the relative strength is coming back in on the weekly chart. Maybe not this week, but possibly this week or next week, we see a pending buy signal on DOT, right? It's already hit 2 of the 4 shorter term targets. And then we'd be looking at potential of a lot higher targets, right? The potential is enormous for DOT. $4.30 currently at the weekly chart. If it happened to come all the way up just to target 1, you're looking at 250% to the middle of the box. If it came up and hit a similar target 2, similar as Bitcoin dominance, similar as GBTC, similar as MicroStrategy, the list goes on. 450% to DOT, all the way up to $24, right? We're not even talking about target 3 or target 4 because we haven't seen Bitcoin and some of these other ones hit that target yet, right? So let's drop down to the daily chart. This is what we're watching here. We had a buy signal and the price closed just above the trend line, came up, hit target 2, retraced, right? We'll see if it finds support and then moves up to target 3, target 4 on the daily chart, all while the weekly chart starts to gain relative strength. May take another week or two or more, but it is currently trending that way. Even the trending dots have broke out of this downward trend line. So that's DOT. We have NEAR and Cardano left, right? So here's NEAR. Buy signal followed by hitting the shorter term target 1 and continues to trend upward, right? Continues to trend upward. That's the daily chart. If we zoom out here to the weekly chart looks crazy for NEAR. You can buy NEAR right now for $1.15, right? So $1.15. Imagine if NEAR possibly comes up and hits target 1. That is 300%. Am I going all in right now? Absolutely not, right? Am I going all in? Definitely not. Am I in these assets like NEAR, Cardano, DOT, chainlink with more than lunch money? Definitely. More than, like, if I were to take people out for a nice steak dinner and I wasn't even going to think twice about it and pay for it, am I in that much? Definitely, right? But I'm not going all in. So the first target, potentially 300%, right? The second target, potentially 600% to the second target if it does that, right? Is assuming NEAR doesn't die, right? Assuming this is potentially the bottom, assuming this is if it regains the trading dots, assuming the weekly chart, the weekly candles flip to a pending buy signal and takes off to the upside. It's a lot of assumptions, right? It may take more time to play out. It is really early on DOT and NEAR, really early. The only buy signals we have is on the daily chart. We don't even have it on the weekly chart yet. So keep that in mind, right? It has a lot of work to do, but these are high flyers and it could happen very quickly. We're already over 20 minutes. We're at 23 minutes, but we got one more to cover. So here we go. Cardano, the weekly chart, back above the trending dots as of right now. Looks like it's about to break out of this downward trend line right here. Let me redraw this a little bit better based off the weekly chart. It's right on the line. It's hit target 1, but that was based off of the daily chart, right? This is the weekly chart. So it hasn't even flipped to a pending buy signal yet. But it's starting to break out. So from this point right here, right? Let's take a quick look at the daily chart, right? Daily chart's already starting looking like it had a buy signal, broke out, came all the way back down, back tested this trend line, and looks like it's going to be pushing off to the upside, right? So it's already ultra bullish on the daily chart, and it hasn't even started on the weekly chart yet, right? So it could be very interesting. It could get interesting very quickly. It's at 28.42 cents, right? So from here, from 28.4, or just call it 28.5, depending on when you see this video, right? Target 2, 9.5, 10, call it 10%. Target 2, these are the target 3, the shorter term targets, almost 19%. Target 4, the shorter term, 30%, right? And if you look, if you were to have, like, say, a stop loss down here, 23%. So a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio from the current price right here would take you to about probably about right there. So to hit a 2-to-1 risk to reward, you would need price to get to about 40 cents. If you put your stop loss down here, if you made it a little bit tighter here at 17, you need price to get to about target 4 The top of target 4 for a 2 to 1. It's pretty close. You get the point, right? So then you kind of zoom out a little bit on this weekly chart. From here, if it happens to rally and regain the 200-week moving average, you're looking at 132%, right? Let's keep going. Target 1, the middle of target 1, 220% on Cardano, right? If it happens to get all the way back up to target 2, you're looking at more than 350% to the middle of the target box. That is Cardano. That is the opportunity. Instead of feeling like you missed out, instead of feeling like you're chasing fear of missing out, chasing a Bitcoin that's already pumped up, there are plenty of opportunities out there. And I recommend finding the ones that might be lagging and then taking advantage of those. That's what we're doing. That's what we're going to continue to do. Continue to sniper these markets together. I appreciate all of your support. Smash the like button. Our goal is 100 likes. We're getting closer and closer. Thank you. And I'll see you on the next one.